Hi, I'm Allison, and this is my dog, and we live in a tiny house and an even tinier trailer, traveling the country, taking hikes, and this week we're going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park, where parking is a battle royale, among some other things you should know before you visit. Going to the Sun Road is a 50-mile drive from entrance to entrance. It takes a couple hours to drive without traffic or stopping, but really, you should expect traffic and to make a few stops. First off, I have to apologize for the muddy footage. Unfortunately, the park was full of smoke from the dozens of wildfires burning in the northwest, which seems to be the new normal for us now, so be sure to check the park's live cams before you go, or check them just to prevent any disappointment when you get there. This time I started from the east entrance and drove to the west and then turned around and came back. You should really consider driving it in both directions too, rather than just passing through. By turning around and doing it the opposite direction, you'll get to see a lot of views you probably missed behind you while you were enjoying the views in front of you. The road is narrow with tight turns and some hairpin corners with rock walls on one side and sheer cliffs on another at some points, so large camper trailers will be turned around at the park gates. That is, if you made a reservation. The Going to the Sun Road portion of Glacier National Park is now on a timed entry system to prevent overcrowding. I wasn't able to get tickets each of the 5 times I tried within seconds of them being released on recreation.gov. So I went outside of timed entry hours, and I have to tell you, I wouldn't do it any other way. But if getting up at 4 a.m. isn't your thing, I recommend getting tickets when the first set are released 2 weeks in advance. Speaking of road conditions, here's a few tips for visiting in case you're an absolute moron. And I do mean moron in the most loving possible way here. When I say moron, for our purposes today, I mean lacking in situational awareness, which, no shade, I've been guilty of standing in someone's way without knowing it and whatnot. And we probably all have that one friend who, say, will talk really loud in a quiet place, etc. That's lacking in situational awareness. And if you don't know such a friend, you're probably that friend. But if you have no idea what situational awareness is, trust me, you're in good company. But here, as in many of our nation's national parks, not practicing situational awareness could actually get you killed. My personal definition is being aware of your effect on the environment and others around you, and being mindful of the potential effects the environment can have on you. For example, if you're one of my friends in Seattle and you live your life surrounded by tall buildings, of course you wouldn't notice that lightning storm coming in during your hike. You can't even see the weather from a distance where you're from. So this, understandably, takes a little practice. Case in point, don't park your car under a rock fall. This might sound obvious, but keep in mind that rocks aren't just always actively falling to warn you. But look on the ground. Are there large loose rocks everywhere? If you're in Glacier, that means they fell there and they will fall there again, so maybe don't park there. Also, I know the scenery is stunning, but check your mirrors every so often and pull over if you see a massive backup of cars, yet nobody's in front of you. Obviously, you're enjoying the park at slow speed and you're not in a hurry, so enjoy one of Glacier's most scenic turnouts in the world while you let others pass. Speaking of traffic, there are also 2 reasons for traffic jams in the park, and they also happen to be 2 very good reasons for just sitting tight, being patient, and not honking your horn or trying to pass you legally. And those are wildlife crossings and life-threatening emergencies. Glacier is full of wildlife, While there, I encountered wildlife dozens of times, usually multiple times a day, both on the trail and on the road. So give the animals a break and obey the speed limits. The road might seem clear and hazard-free, maybe even safe to drive over the limit on some points, but you would be wrong. The road, especially the east end with lots of open fields where big game like to graze, is also a thoroughfare for animals like bighorn sheep, moose, and bears with small cubs. Chances are, if you come up on a traffic jam, it's because everyone has stopped to let pass and, of course, watch a big game crossing. Also, Glacier has some stunning yet potentially dangerous hikes, and where this many tourists gather, accidents are bound to happen. And some people are bound to push themselves beyond their physical limits. The largest traffic jam I encountered was to let emergency vehicles pass, because Logan Pass had been closed so they could land a helicopter in the parking lot to airlift someone having an emergency. So if you're an impatient driver, just chill out and enjoy whatever scenery you happen to be stuck in, because neither the bears nor the paramedics care about the schedule you're trying to keep. And I cannot emphasize this enough. If you plan to visit Logan Pass, you better be there before 6 a.m. or for sunset, which is roughly when timed entry starts and ends, or you won't get a parking spot. I'm not exaggerating. The other reason to go early and late is that prime wildlife watching is before and after hours anyway, and the sunrises and sunsets are absolutely stunning. Thanks for driving with me. And from all your other fellow tourists, thank you for practicing situational awareness and not driving like an absolute moron. Happy travels!